morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mornings with the Outlaw live here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I got my lights on. I got my mornings started. Got the camera on. I got you with me. Got my little bagel rolling with me. Little iced tea action. Still recovering from last night. A fantastic episode of the Outlaw Nation with my guest, Mark Ellis. Thank you all so much. Over 2,000 of you have already watched this thing. Got a little sesame seed in there. And I want to thank you guys so much for doing that, for coming in, leaving your comments, having your questions asked and answered on the show. And all of you sent in Streamlabs and Super Chats last night as well to thank Mark Ellis for coming on the show. Really appreciate that madly. All of you have been really incredible. Can everybody hear me? I want to make sure everybody can hear me because I want to make sure there's no issues with the microphone. I was doing some recording last night for a voiceover project after I finished up doing mornings with the Outlaw Nation, so I want to make sure people can hear me and everything is going well in that direction. I would be getting, hopefully, I ordered a new pop filter that's better than this annoying one that keeps, like, I have to adjust all the time with it, so it is frustrating. Okay, Christopher Castro says Outlaw time. Biatch. Yeah, thank you so much. All right, let's hi to everybody. I'll imagine you guys will tell me if there's an issue with the audio or anything like that going on. So as long as we're cool to go. Cool. Audio video is good. Good. Thank you so much. Good. MK Songbird, how's it going, my man? J. Scott for real. Hello, J. Scott for real. Rick Samoris, Andrew G, Matthew Marceau, Haskell 420. What's up, my man? Kui George Jin. Hello. Andrew Cook, hello. Marie Zambano, good morning, everyone. Got some not-so-fun news for my job today. Thankfully, I am still employed, but things are changing. Yeah. Join the club. Join the club. Thunder God Cairo 770, welcome. Damn, even the Waffle Houses are closing up now. You know that never happens, even when natural disasters occur. Yeah, you know that could be a problem. Dragon Reborn, hello, how are you? What's up? Back 946. Good morning, Outlaw. Good morning, you back. Sorry, I got a little jelly on there. Jeremy Buckingham, what's going on? Andy Burnett, hello. Christopher Castro. That's right, he says Outlaw time, like I said. Randall Tan, greetings. Fozzie Forsyth says he hears me fine. Good, thank you very much. And Jeremy Buckingham coming in loud and clear. Ben Rayner, what's up, Ben? How are you? Happy Wednesday to you as well. See that guy over there. Ooh, sorry, guys. See that guy over there? Hello. Rodney Padilla, what's going down? Suge Knight. What's up, Suge? Thank you for moderating. Billy Belford is up in here. Whoa, a rare appearance from the Belford man. Thank you, Billy, for coming on the show this morning. Suge Knight moderating. Billy Belford can moderate as well. See the Streamlabs there. Please send in your Streamlabs, send in your Super Chats. I'm curious to talk to you all and answer some of your questions today. We got so much to talk about today, actually. There's a lot of news that dropped overnight in the last few days, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what you all think about it as well. Thanks for the compliments on the headphones, Randall Tan. These are the Bose noise-canceling ones that I bought last year. Been using them for about 6 months now, the 770s. Here's what I'll say about them. They're really great for noise canceling. I mean, incredibly great for noise canceling. However, the fit sometimes, they slide off your head, or if you go on an airplane, when the wind vibrates on the plane, these things come off your ear and it isn't positive. With the QC35-2s, they stayed on your ear. The 700s kind of vibrate off your ear, so not 100% a positive. But if you're going to spend a little bit of money on noise-canceling earphones, if everybody's home and you don't want to lose your mind, I can't tell you how much it's worth it if you can afford it. So let's see. What else we got here? Christopher Castro says more Transformers. Is that something that came over the pike as well? I'll take a look. Cameron Hainsworth, good morning. Makeda Richardson, good morning, Outlaw. Good morning to you, Makeda. Thank you so much for joining. D. Munoz, what's going on? J-Dog, what's going on, brother, man? Thanks again for coming in last night. Really appreciate you. Always appreciate when you come in, J-Dog. Thanks. Matthew Hannon, how are you? Adrian Bailey. And Enigma 9 X9, that's cool. 9x9, peace and blessings. Same to you. Same to you, Enigma 99. I got jelly on my hands now here, too. All right. That's what I do. I'm the Outlaw. I lick. I'm sorry, guys. I lick. Dragon Reborn wants to know what type of muffin I have this morning. Well, let me give you an update on that. Do it for cash. Says, good morning. Great show with Ellis last night. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I thought so, too. We had a really good time hanging out. Those 2 hours flew by. I can't believe how quickly the 2 hours flew by. And the wheels started coming off right after the 2-hour mark, ironically, and we were done. But, that's the way it goes sometimes. You hit that wall and you're like, okay, we're done. The universe is telling us we're done. Luis Macias, what's up? Stem W616, 70 people watching means 70 likes. Come on, people. Yeah, people, give me some likes, my friends. Give me some likes. Christopher Castro says the bows do kick ass. Yes, they do. Zeno Hour, hello, man. Good to see you. Darrell Roberts, sorry, hello. Billy Belford, bows were always the cans of choice when I was a linguist in the Marine Corps. Yeah, respect. Semper Fi, brother, man. Doug Tarnovine, hello. Facetious Christ, hey-oh. Yeah, and Matthew Hannon says, I'm the outlaw I lick. LOL. Yeah, that's, well, what can I tell you? I don't have wet nappies around. I just lick and then wipe it off. All right. Anyway, as I said, thank you all so much who joined me last night for for the Outlaw Nation. So much fun. Mark Ellis coming in, joining me last night. He's such a funny guy, and he really brings a lot of the just casually relaxed humor that this world needs nowadays. And he was so great at just kind of like settling everybody down. People were asking questions about stuff, and he was so incredible to do that for me. And for us, with everything that's going on in our world, the last thing we want to be dealing with is another, like kind of dour situation. So we just kind of talked about everything, movies, sports, Schmoedown stories, everything that you could possibly think of. We talked about and had a great time doing that. And so I was really happy to see that go down and have him on the show. And another thing that I want to let you all know about, and so you can see that after you watch today's episode of Mornings with the Outlaw, if you want to swing over and watch a few minutes, whatever you want to do, or give it a like, the Outlaw Nation episode there. It is my main video right now on my channel, so you can go watch that and enjoy Mark Ellis and his conversation and thoughts about so many things that are going on in the world. We got into the coronavirus stuff. We got into people's reactions to it, the government's reactions to it, the theater's reactions to it. We got into it. It was a very wide open conversation that ranged through a number of topics, and Mark Ellis was very kind to come on the show and do that. And another thing I want to let you guys know, this was announced yesterday as well. I've been working with Wiley Todd and John Mariano on my Patreon. I know so many of you were so gracious in January and February and in March, the beginning of March, to come on to the Outlaw Nation Patreon. But, I haven't done a great job of holding up my end of the bargain and having these hangouts and having these watch-alongs. And the truth is, because I've been trying to build this thing so much, I've been so overwhelmed, and so I realized I have to create a production schedule. Of course, my girlfriend is the one that really made me realize that, and so I've employed, I've asked Wiley Todd and John Mariano to help me do that. And one of the things we're doing now is every week we're going to be doing something for the Patreon, and this is starting next week, Thursday night. It's going to be the first Outlaw Hangout. You can go see the tiers you can join to be a part of that. There's going to be more hangouts. There'll be watch-along parties of Schmoedown matches, movies. In fact, I think I might do an Iron Man 2 watch-along just to kind of counter what's going on here between Thor 2 and Iron Man 3, to tell you that Iron Man 2 is the worst MCU movie. You can join the Patreon at the $7 tier to join, and then we'll have more hangouts and things of that nature coming down the pike for the Outlaw Nation. So please get involved in the Patreon. There's a lot coming down for that. All multiple tiers are set up for people, and I'm going to have one-on-ones with you. For I think the $50 tier, you get a one-on-one with me for half an hour, talking about what do you want to talk about. You want to you want to start a YouTube channel, you want to get into acting, you want to get into film criticism, you want to get into voiceover, whatever it is you want to talk about, half an hour. You want to work on stuff with your relationship or stuff with your life, things of that nature. And if you want an hour with me, that's the $100 tier, and you can get a one-on-one with me as well. So there's a number of tiers from $1 to $100 there on the Patreon. Now that we're all kind of doing our thing, I want to make myself more available to all of you who are such great fans and followers of the Outlaw Nation, and show you my appreciation for everything that you all do and the support you give Outlaw Nation, which I personally feel very humbled by and appreciative of on so many levels. So thank you. All right, let me log into my Streamlabs here. And you can go to the Patreon there. You see the address, www.patreon.com/John Rocha says. Definitely be a part of that if you'd like to be a part of that. All right, let me give a shout out to the people who subscribed last night or overnight. Paige Corinne subscribed to the channel last night, so shout out to that person. And more people, please come and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel just yet, please feel free to do so. I'd appreciate it. And give some love to the channel in that way. Okay, got almost 100 of y'all in here. Let's get some likes rolling on this thing. I'd really appreciate it. It would mean a lot. Suge Knight says $100 for an hour with the Outlaw. Take my money. Thank you, Suge. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. And MK Songbird throwing this in. Anybody talk about Michael Biehn being cast in season 2 of The Mandalorian? Yeah, pretty cool. With this 80s nostalgia making a comeback here. The idea of Michael Biehn, who of course was Kyle Reese in Terminator, which I forgot in one of my matches, and of course in The Abyss, and in a number of shows, even the Magnificent Seven show that was on CBS for a season or two. He was a part of that, but Michael Biehn now, him coming back as a possible assassin or bounty hunter in Mandalorian season 2, that's going to be fun to take a look at. But the big news coming out this morning is the news that Wonder Woman 1984 has been delayed. In the Heights has also been delayed as well. This is the first sign that Hollywood might be expecting the theaters to be dark during June as well. So for some of you who work in the movie theaters or who've wanted to come back to the movie theaters, this is a big decision by Warner Brothers to do this, and DC, of course, with Wonder Woman 1984. It's now going to open on August 14th, 2020. Which is the date Warner Brothers had set aside for James Wan's *Malignant*. So that has been indefinitely delayed, along with the Scoob, which is the Scooby-Doo film, and In the Heights, as I just mentioned a few seconds ago. Those have been indefinitely delayed. So those don't have release dates at all to kind of postpone to a particular date where it's going to be shown. So those don't have any makeup dates in terms of being released at this point. So they're indefinitely delayed, whereas Wonder Woman is going to August 14th, 2020. This was something that director Patty Jenkins and Charles Roven pushed for, apparently, and wanted to have. There's Patty Jenkins there, of course, on the set of Wonder Woman 1984, directing Gal Gadot. And this is something they pushed for to move to August. So right now is the question a lot of people are asking, though, is this a bit optimistic? Is this really going to be the way it goes down? Do you think it will be in August? Are they just going to keep delaying and pushing? Or do they think this situation is going to eventually break and crest, and then movies will start coming back, and they want to be one of the first movies that's already scheduled to come out at a certain date, and take advantage of people who are wanting to come back to the movie theaters. You know, Wonder Woman in 1984 is the sequel to the first Wonder Woman, which was $821 million. Is that right? $821 million globally, and was a big critical and commercial success. A lot of people felt like Wonder Woman 1984 was going to be, a $1 billion movie on the heels of what happened with Captain Marvel and Joker. It wasn't supposed to hit for another 2 months, so I think this is a preemptive decision by Warner Brothers. I think they sense this is the smarter move overall, and we'll see what happens. They've got they haven't done much of the promotional stuff going, but on the announcement that they were going to delay it, Patty Jenkins put a tweet out, and let's take a look at that tweet now, with a new motion poster for it. And she said, "We made Wonder Woman 1984 for the big screen, and I believe in the power of cinema. In these terrible times when theater owners are struggling, as so many are, we are excited to redate our film to August 14th, 2020 in a theater near you, and pray for better times for all by then." So there you go. There's Patty Jenkins kind of letting people know what the situation is going to be with Wonder Woman. And you should watch that motion poster. It's pretty cool that she put up there on Twitter, on the Twitter sphere, which I enjoyed watching this morning. So, this is a situation where I think they're just kind of adapting to it as best they can. Let's see. There's some theaters that are closed. Most theaters nationwide closed their doors last week. In fact, the box office itself, for the first time ever, made $0. That's right, $0 over this past weekend, which has never happened in the history of box office tracking. AMC estimated its locations could remain shuttered for the next 6 to 12 weeks. So if you're listening to that, and starting in mid-March. So they're looking at, just started like a week or two ago until, March, April, May, end of May, June, maybe somewhere around there. Regal, Cinemark, Alamo Drafthouse, and ArcLight have not offered up timeframes yet for when they think they might be coming back in this situation. So this is an interesting decision, because it isn't like an indefinite postponement, and it isn't a year away like they did with Fast 9 or with James Bond moving it to November. This is a little bit of a closer movement. You know, that maybe they're anticipating that things, as I said, things will start to just crest, and we'll get back to the business of going back to the movie theater. And certainly Trump yesterday during his speech, President Trump said that he wanted to get businesses back by Easter, which of course I personally think is insane. When you listen to the doctors and the scientists who are way more knowledgeable about this than our president or pretty much anybody else who isn't them, they're way more knowledgeable about this situation. And so we'll see. And that stimulus package that passed last night, I think it's $2 trillion stimulus package. Hopefully that brings some relief for some of you out there. Hopefully it brings some relief for me, for my girlfriend, who I just found out was furloughed. Is going to be furloughed this week, which is unfortunate for us. But so those kind of things are going down the pike, coming down the pike, and hopefully they lead to some financial relief for a lot of us out there as we kind of navigate these uncharted waters into a better situation for this country and for this world post coronavirus. Hopefully in the next couple of months. So that's the hope here, and crossing fingers and hoping it does go that way. But yeah, all these movies are being affected, and this is the first time. I mean, it's really interesting. We won't have a summer season of movies. Like, this is what studios count on, honestly, to be their like money-making time. You know, and we've seen this summer season creep back to like March. In the last few years, it was April initially, then March. So there's this March to like August type of summer where you can drop all these movies and make your big money that funds the smaller movies or the more art house movies or the independent movies or the more mature drama movies that you can make as a studio. So this is a massive loss for the studios overall, and we'll see how they readjust and put things in motion to get back to making profits, but also to get back to making fun movies that we can enjoy in the summer for sure. So, you know, as much as we make fun of Hollywood, and some people do make fun of all these big pictures, these big tentpole pictures, or all they care about is superhero films, in the end, these are fun things to do in the theater, to go with friends, to go as a group and enjoy them and experience them and talk about them. And that's a great thing for us. And then you can still appreciate the great movies that come out during Oscar season and award season, things of that nature as well. The documentaries and the movies that come out on Netflix and the smaller stuff that comes out from the theaters or overseas foreign cinema, certainly with Parasite winning Best Picture, you know, even more so. So all of that is possible and something to look forward to in our world. But you have to have the balance, I believe, and missing out on the summer season for now is kind of a blow for all of us, I think. But hopefully we're doing constructive things with our time. Hopefully you're doing constructive things with your time as well. I'm trying to build this channel up. That's what I'm doing with my time, and also kind of exploring some other options for myself. And I hope some of you are exploring other options for yourself as well, and turning this negative into a positive. That's really what we want to do overall as people. And so we'll see what happens. And I'm looking forward to the day we're back in the movie theater and having a little bit of fun. And speaking of which, well, let me check in and see if I've got any super chats or Streamlabs that have rolled through. Anything going on that I missed by any chance? No super chats. Any Streamlabs? No, it doesn't look like it. All right, I guess you guys you're not feeling it today. Maybe I'm not doing enough to get a little bit of support from you. I'll work on it. But much love to all of you for watching me. Now I got over 130 of you all in here. Please swing it over and hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Only at 76 likes right now. Would love to get over that 100 like mark. It would mean a lot. So I appreciate all of you joining me this morning. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, maybe you're new and you're checking out the Outlaw, the Mornings with the Outlaw for the first time, please hit that subscribe button down below. I would really personally appreciate it. It would mean a lot. Let's see what we got here. MK Songbird says Easter is 2.5 weeks ago, pretty much when New York officials are saying when they think the state will reach the apex. Seems smart. Yeah, exactly. Belford says, I do think local governments should determine their own timelines. Yeah, I agree with that because they know their people more and they know what's going on and they know what kind of services they can offer down there. So Darren Wright says, I'm still waiting to hear if I'll be furloughed too. Will Watson wants to see if I'll do call-ins today. No, I'm on the Streamlabs today, brother man, so I don't have the ability to do call-ins this morning. But I will eventually, I'll be doing that as part of the, as I learn more and more how to work the StreamYards, be able to bring up pictures and things of that nature and videos as I've done, I will definitely be doing that more and more and kind of move away from the Streamlabs stuff. Chris West says, we got you, Rocha. Matthew Syria 117 says, good morning, Rocha. I appreciate it. No, just switched accounts real quick and add another. Facetious Christ, thank you. Rednex42 says, the UK Financial Times has a good webpage tracking the virus. To be frank, US looks to be very bad. Yeah, I know. That's for sure. I'm hearing that as well. Matthew Hannon says, I not only want to see Wonder Woman 1984 in a theater, I'm going to seek out a Dolby theater for the absolute best picture and sound. This is a movie that deserved it. I agree. Or deserves it, rather. I agree. Absolutely. Suge Knight up in here. I appreciate you moderating, Babanch. Appreciate Billy Belford being in here as well. Jake Yacovetta busy with work stuff this morning. And, of course, a shout-out to Wiley Todd. Wiley Todd did the thumbnail this morning, so I appreciate Wiley stepping in there to help and do his thing. And he also did that graphic for the Patreon. So Wiley's been running himself ragged, and I appreciate his help overall with the Outlaw Nation, with the Patreon as well. So shout-out to him. Christopher Castro says, AMC A-List needs to not charge me if I can't go LMAO. Laugh my ass off. Yeah, Christopher, there is an option on there where you can freeze your account where they don't charge you. They're not publicizing it because AMC wants to stay alive as a business, so they think they'll take your money by not telling you about it. But there is articles out there where you can take the charge off, or you can freeze the charge for now, so it's not coming out of your account. And then once the AMC opens again, then you can set it back up again. So that's pretty cool. Christopher Castro says, apparently Michael Biehn is playing a bounty hunter from Din's Pass. So okay, all right, cool. That'd be cool. It would make sense since he's an older actor, so why not make it be somebody from his past? Oh, Nick Bascom, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, love you, Rocha. Thanks for all the content. I appreciate that. Very, very kind of you. Will Watson says, I'll get the wheel rolling on the super chats. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Streamlabs also is good, my friends, because the super chats, they take 33% of that from me, whereas Streamlabs, I get the whole thing, so I appreciate it. Billy Belford had done it. He said, that voicemail recording you did for the movie guys at Spectacular was hilarious. Much love to the Outlaw family. I hope the furlough is not too long. This will be a crazy thing to look back on in 10 years. I agree. And I hope we can look back on it in 10 years for sure and laugh about it, Billy. So I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. And that voicemail was fun to do. I remember the guys came, because to be honest with you, the guys reached out to me when I was like full on deep into the bronchitis, and they weren't sure I was going to show up. I certainly was not going to show up to the Fan Expo because I didn't want to get anybody sick. But they, Paul and Adam called me up and were like, dude, would you do this for us and record the voicemail? And so while they were on the show the other night for Chill to Action, Jake sent me a message on Facebook Messenger, and he's like, hey, man, will you drop in and give them shit for playing your voicemail? And I was like, oh, sure. The Action guys have been the Action family, right? The Action Army have been incredible, helping me out with so much about the Outlaw Nation. And I guess I can announce this, and maybe they'll announce it themselves. But last night we settled on a time. I will be on Schmoedown. I don't have a graphic for it. I don't have a graphic for that right now, or a picture for that right now. But I will be on Schmoedown 7:30 p.m. Pacific time to take on the Beast, William Bibiani. That's right. The Outlaw versus the Beast one more time in another arena on Schmoedown. Thank you to Alex Mack for setting that all up last night. We were supposed to go Saturday night, but the weekends are reserved for my lady, barring anything catastrophic. I like to spend time with my lady on the weekends, kind of keep building our relationship and making it stronger. So the weekdays are where I do other stuff, and so we pushed it to Wednesday, this Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. PT on the Action Army channel, the Chill to Action, the Call to Action channel, which is over 1,000 likes already. So go give that, or subscribers rather, go give that some love as well. So we are taking it on. I'm taking it on. Yeah, that's right. Me and the Beast going at it in that arena. Alex is going to send us questions on Monday apparently, and then we're going to go toe to toe. I told her that she can't be too inebriated while she's moderating and judging. I want her to be somewhat level so that the decisions are fair. in the back and forth. So there it is. And Billy Belford says, "Who would have thought 2 years ago that the auction army would support the Outlaw?" Totally true, totally true. Who would have thought? But life is crazy sometimes, and sometimes the best friends you make are the ones you start off with having a fight. Certainly my best friend in the world, my best friend Maurice, who was the city manager of Charlottesville when all that stuff went down a couple of years ago with the white supremacists. We've been best friends since high school. We became friends when we were on the basketball court, and I pushed him a little too hard, and he threw a ball at my back. And so we got into a bit of a fight from that basketball game. But then later when we calmed down after the game was over, we went and got some food with a couple other guys, and we just kind of slowly but surely became really good friends. And so we're still best friends today. He's the best man. I was the best man at his wedding. He will be the best man at mine if I ever have it. So who knows what we can have with the Action Army and the Outlaw Nation coming together. Certainly the nation needs an army, so why not? All right. Belford said sacrifices must be made for by Alex Mack. That's hilarious. All right. Let's see. Nick Bascom sent in another super chat. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. You guys are being very kind this morning. Thank you so much. Oh, and Jim Sandelin sent in a Streamlabs as well. He said, Rocha, do you know the wheel slices before a Schmoedown match? Hashtag Baba Booey. Yeah, you guys can ask me anything. It's Mornings with the Outlaw. I'm talking about topics that I've got set up, but certainly you can ask me any questions you want if you send in a Streamlabs or a super chat. No problem at all. And so I'll tell you, do we know, let's see, what's the question again? Do we know the wheel slices before a Schmoedown match? Here's what I'll tell you. We get to choose our 2 slices ahead of time, and then those get told to us whether they're good or not. We send in backups too. So we'll send like 3 or 4 slices, but say this is my top 2, and then this is my 3rd backup, my 4th backup. And then we get told which ones are going to be on the wheel. Then not each other's. Like, I don't know what my opponent's slices are, and he doesn't, or he or she doesn't know what my opponent's slices are, or my slices are ahead of time. So that's off the table. None of us know about those slices before we walk out the door to the match. However, what we've started doing though is about half an hour to an hour before the match, the wheel is set up for us to go and take a look at it and see what the topics are. And as we see what the topics are, we can kind of do a little bit of cram studying or cram training before the match starts on any wheel slice that we feel a little shaky on or hazy on. That's what happens. So you don't get them like a 24 hours. You literally get them a half an hour, at the most an hour before a match starts. And I think if you're the first match, you get those about an hour. But if you're the next match, as soon as the second round is over, then the guys bring that wheel out and they start putting the slices on for the next match, and that's when you know. So it all depends on from the wheel coming out and the slices being switched out to when your match starts. That's the amount of time you have between for training and getting ready to go in there and do their thing. So okay, who we got? We got somebody who's got a birthday. Is that what's going on? King Sport Cal. Hey, Rocha, it's my birthday, 38 today. Hey, congratulations, King Sport Cal. Happy 38th birthday, my man. Good stuff. I'm glad you made it this far. Here's to many more. For you in your life, my friend. That's awesome, King Sport Cal. Happy birthday. All right, thanks everybody for the Streamlabs and the Super Chats. Let's jump into, and keep them coming. Let's jump into the next topic this morning, and that is the words from Jason Blum. And all of you know who Jason Blum is. He is talking about the movies. This was, I think, from Joe Blow, great website there that I've followed for many years. Even when I had dial-up, that's how long ago I was reading JoeBlow.com. But he was talking about, he's the head, of course, he's head of Blumhouse Productions. He was talking about how this coronavirus can affect what's going on. I thought he had some interesting things to say, so I wanted to talk about it on Mornings with the Outlaw. He said, I think it's not realistic to think all the studios are going to wait 4 months before they put a movie at home. Talking about this stuff about streaming streaming to your house from these streaming services. He said they just can't compete. They're going to have to compete with Amazon and Netflix and Apple in a different way. There's going to be shifts. The consumer is going to be more used to staying at home. Something is going to give. There has to be something that's going to happen post-corona. The movie business will look different after the coronavirus. He doesn't think the movie theaters will be going away collectively. He thinks that the collective experience of going to a movie theater for the first time is something that people still want, but there will be fewer movies in theaters going forward in his mind as more studios elect to go straight to streaming or digital distribution. He said, "I don't think theaters are ever going to go away." Let's see here. The collective experience of going to a theater and taking in a movie, I think that's going to be around for a long time. I think there'll be less movies in theaters. There'll be less of a selection, or I should say there'll be many, many fewer movies in theaters with the window, and I think there'll be many, many more movies in theaters, but they only last for a week or two. And we just saw this with this week with Onward, Bloodshot, Birds of Prey, and Blumhouse's Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss there, and also The Hunt. Those two Blumhouse productions, Jason Blum is in charge of that production house. Those two films were made available very quickly on demand and for download. And people are like writing up about how much they enjoyed it and spending the $20, that it was worth it to watch it. Because why not? When you go to a theater, a ticket and the refreshments are literally over $20 in any theater you go to, really, unless you're going to a very cheap matinee for like $6 if they still have those. Somewhere where you live in this situation. So I agree with him, and it's something that Mark Ellis and I talked about last night as we were talking about how the movie business is going to be post-coronavirus. Are people? See, I've been of the belief that people are going to rush back because I think people don't like to be told what they can't do. Like if you elected to stay home for 2 months and self-isolate, that's different. But if people tell you to stay home and self-isolate and close movie theaters on you, I think we as human beings bristle at that kind of thing for the most part. Not everyone, but I think for the most part, people bristle at being told what to do. They like to make their own decisions, and they like to be able to make decisions about their lives as they see fit. So if someone tells you you can't do this and they shut down the movie theater on you, that's a different situation. And so I see that. I see that that's what's happening here, is that fans are going to want to run back to the movie theater and patronize any of the movies that are just to get that communal experience back again and feel like things are normal again, psychologically feel like things are normal again, right? But Mark Ellis is of the belief that people will slowly go back to the theater. They'll like dip their toes in a little bit to make sure, and they're looking for the cases to see if people get infected and get sick and whatever. And I'm not talking about Easter. Like I think the movie theater should be incredibly responsible and open when they want to open, and not when the president tells them to open, because they know what they're capable of doing. They don't want to get sued by people who show up to this thing and say, oh, you didn't protect this or that. And, as much as these fine workers at movie theaters do their best, they are only getting paid a minimal amount of money. They're not making a lot of money. So to ask them to do this incredible amount of security and surveillance and keeping people from getting sick is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous ask. You're not compensated for that kind of level of effort when you work in a movie theater. So it's ridiculous to ask them. So I think those movie theaters should take responsibility for when they open and when they don't open. As I was saying earlier, AMC 6 to 12 weeks starting in mid-March, about a week ago, that kind of stuff. So that's what I think is important here, is that they make their decisions. That being said, we should transition to this, and that is the Chinese movie theaters. What I'm seeing, I was reading this morning in the Hollywood Reporter. They are slowly starting to reopen. That's right. Chinese movie theaters are slowly starting to reopen. Remember, like a week ago, they started the Apple stores opened again. They claimed that they were more on top of the situation in China with the cases. That the cases were going down because they were aggressive with their testing. They were aggressive attacking this virus. And making sure it was taken care of. They weren't caught up with the whole, blame game, and they weren't caught up with not being able to admit they made mistakes, which unfortunately some people can't and are pig-headed about, and other people are going to be paying the price for those mistakes and that hubris and the fear that some people have that they might lose a particular position that they're in. But Chinese movie theaters have slowly started to reopen, and they're doing it with films like The Avengers and Avatar, as well as other blockbusters. There's over 3,000 deaths in China from the coronavirus, and the country's been in lockdown to battle it. They started shutting down the theaters on January 23rd. So this is January, February, March. So it was like 3 months ago they started closing down the theaters, and they postponed. Of course, this affected them postponing No Time to Die from April to November, and a number of other releases, of course, that we talked about just recently, being pushed as well. The Hollywood Reporter says that China further says that China has had some success in battling the coronavirus. The nation is working to, quote, reopen its movie theaters and rebuild its local film industry. There's an estimated 600 to 700 Chinese movie theaters that are open for business now. They've dropped all 4 Avengers movies. Avatar, Inception, and Interstellar are going to be re-released. They said that a source at one of China's nationwide cinema operators told them that whenever the DCPs reach the cinemas, the films will be available to them. The article also says that the Hollywood studios re-releasing their films in China will still receive their usual 25% share of sales. So we'll see if people come back. I think this will be a barometer for how we might react when the theaters reopen here later on this year. Assuming we handle everything and control the virus and start to be able to test more effectively and get people treatment more effectively. We can look to see how people react coming back to the theater, and see if people are going to come in mass numbers, or people are going to slowly approach going back to the theater. We shall see. But either way, I think this is a great first step to getting these movies back into rotation, start looking at dates. I think a lot of these studios have said indefinite dates for these delays because they want to see how this whole coronavirus plays out and what territories get on top of it and start to slowly go back to normal and reopen these theaters. Then they'll start looking at dates for that kind of thing. And we'll see as it goes along what ends up coming or what ends up happening. But I personally am looking forward to this possibility occurring and us opening theaters again here in the States, hopefully sooner rather than later, so people can start enjoying movies again and talking about movies and getting back to normal. And we'll see if that happens overall. All right, what do we got here? Let's take a look at some Streamlabs and some Super Chats. Haskell 420 says, China, though, is a much different place than everywhere else. When they crack down on things, it happens almost instantly because of their regime and their discipline. Yeah, well, we have regime. We have not a regime, but we have an administration. We have discipline. We could have that if we had reacted strongly. So it's irrelevant of your political affiliation. What's relevant is action. It's strong, decisive action from the beginning, not fear of numbers affecting your popularity. What is important is the lives of American citizens, and that's what it should have happened. That's what it should have happened from the beginning. Boom, this is coming. Don't deny that it's coming. Don't worry about it being used as a quote-unquote hoax or whatever bullshit you come up with. Actually go and handle it. Take care of it. Get on top of it. Get the beds. Get the masks. Get the testing in motion. Things of that nature. Don't lie to people about fake cures or snake oil salesman crap that you've got. Actually tell the truth to the American people so they have something that they can rely on and feel comfortable about, feel confident about. That's the number one thing people want to feel, is they want to feel safe and confident that you're handling it, and I don't think people feel that way overall. They may like the way things are being handled, but I don't think they feel the underlying feeling of comfort that things are being handled in a positive way. Spain is up over China overnight. Absolutely. South Korea handled it best. Extensive testing and tracking and tracing anyone exposed. Yeah. Rick Zamora says, Florida, Rocha. Yeah, I know. Florida. I know. Trust me, I know. That should have been way harder. They should have been on top of that way harder. Let's see if I've got any Streamlabs. Some people sent some stuff in. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Suge Knight says, John on Schmoedown versus the Beast. This is Ali versus Frazier, Stone Cold versus The Rock, Hogan versus Warrior. My question, John, is about the line of character work. Do players coming in now understand it's not personal, or is the line too blurred in the Schmoedown? I think players coming in now understand, have a better idea of the character work and the combination of gameplay and character work that needs to happen here in the Schmoedown. I think there were people who came in like 2 or 3 years ago who didn't have as concrete of an idea of what the differences were as I did, because I'm a massive pro wrestling fan. I think the people that understood it, I think eventually people got it, you know what I'm saying? And people get it now coming through the pike. They understand, look, this is a combo of both. I have to create this character, but I also have to know when to check that character at the door and when to really let that character go. And I have to understand during a match where are the character moments that I can let it out to kind of build my character, and where are the moments that I don't do that because it affects the game overall. So I think players now, the younger ones coming in now, have watched enough years of the game to understand how to walk that line effectively and well, and be able to have it lead to successes in the ring, in the Schmoedown ring. So overall, I think that's the deal there. But in the past, no, people have been confused about it. People haven't known. Rachel Cushing talks about it. She talked about it on the Schmoedown Backstage yesterday. You guys should definitely watch that episode. It's one of the best ones we've ever done. Rachel talks about that. She talks about how she had trouble understanding where the line was because the line kept moving, and so you can't fault her for that. Certainly, because she's not an actress. She's an editor. It is not her forte to necessarily slide into the acting side of things. Although I think she did a great job. She's way better than she thinks she is. But she got confused about where the line was. So there were issues. Mara talked about that with Kalinowski. She felt that Kalinowski kind of didn't know where the line was and didn't care, didn't act accordingly in her mind. Whereas Kalinowski feels like he did what he thought was correct and what they had supposedly talked about ahead of time. So it's always for the older players is always that kind of fluid situation that maybe some people got caught up in that wasn't overall 100% the best, but we've worked it out, and that's a positive. Suge Knight also sent another one and said, and my second question is, how do you feel when you see Oyama say you inspired him to be honest with what's going on with them personally with fans? Thoughts on State of the Schmoedown and how it's grown? Have a great day, Outlaw. Oh, I'm very humbled by that and moved by that when players say that I inspired them to talk about their mental health stuff or talk about their personal stuff they were going through before they do the match. I've said this and I've been very clear about this. Before I played Mark Riley at the Spectacular years ago, I was days. It was a few days before that match I had attempted to kill myself. So I will never deny that. In 2016, days before that match, I just was in a very, very terrible place about myself as a human being, about myself as a potential romantic partner, and also about my career. I wasn't 100% happy about what was happening, and I thought to myself, I don't want to live a wasted life, a useless life. I want to live a life that has meaning and leaves a legacy or leaves some kind of effect on the world. And I felt like I hadn't been doing that. And it felt like It's a Wonderful Life moment, right? I'm sitting on the bridge and I just don't understand how many people actually do care about me and have been affected by my presence in their lives. And at that time, I called a suicide prevention hotline. And if I hadn't done that, I would not be here today. That's for damn sure. And I always give credit to Brianne Chandler, who had just randomly tweeted that out as a retweet that morning. And I was laying on the couch with the knife in my hand, ready to do it. And I saw that retweet, just checking social media. And I called the suicide prevention hotline, 45 minutes on the phone with this woman. And she got me through it. She talked me through it. My friends, took care of me the rest of the day, went to an ER, I got checked out, the whole nine. Everything that goes along with that. And it's an embarrassing situation to go through, but it's also, in the long run, a good situation to go through if it helps you keep your life and helps you put things in perspective. And it took 5 months for me to climb out of it. So I have no problem openly talking about it because I did climb out of it. And there are still bad days every once in a while. Every once in a while, there's a bad day. That's life. You get an anxious day or anxiety day. Certainly in January when I was released by Collider, I had a couple of 3 or 4 days that were really, really bad. Because I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and so those are those things that you kind of have to navigate. And thank God I had the tools that I learned from my therapy to kind of negotiate those days and climb out of those days. So when people like Paul Oyama say that, I inspire them to talk about this stuff more openly with the fans and with themselves, it's an honor for me. It's humbling and it's a blessing that I can pay it forward to other people. And certainly Rachel Cushing, I'm not the only one. Rachel Cushing's very open about her struggles with anxiety and what have you, Mara as well. So there are many of us who go through these things and we climb out of them. Some people like to talk about it, some people don't. But if you affect people enough to be able to feel comfortable to talk about it, I think that's a positive thing to do in the world. And I didn't know it would be a positive thing to do in the world, to be honest with you, when I first started being open about it. So it's good to see it comes down. It's good to see it come out in a positive. So All right, 1/3. I got 100. Sorry, I just go on the. Sorry about that tangent there. I apologize, but thank you for the question, Suge Knight. I appreciate it, my man. Always love talking to you, brother. Whether online or when you come into the streams and we talk live. I got 136 of y'all in here. Would love it if you get me over to get some more likes here. I got 119 likes. Thank you. That's very kind of you. King Sport Cal says, "Do you know that I'm Calvin? We talked last night." That's his super chat. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't know that was you, Calvin. Oh, cool, man. Well, good to see you, dude, and happy birthday again, brother, man. Thanks for coming into the stream last night to talk more to Mark Ellis and I. It's always good to see you, Calvin. You're the best. Let's see. Christopher Castro says, "You're the best, Rocha. Listening to you talk about depression encouraged me to go to therapy and get help for my own depression and anxiety." Well, damn, man. That's very nice to hear, Christopher. I appreciate that. That is great to hear. If I can inspire you to do that, then the honor is all mine, to be honest with you. The honor is all mine. Let's see what we got. J. Scott Real says, "Attaboy Yama." I like that. I like Attaboy Yama. Let's see. Yeah, Rocha, Cushing, Nopik, Oyama, much love, says Cam Chef. Thank you so much. Billy Belford says, "You mean a lot to so many people, John. I can't imagine a world without the Outlaw, but also without John Rocha." Thanks, man. Don't make me do that. The Outlaw. Thanks, Billy. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you, man. Paul says, "Damn, Rocha." Yeah, I know. I go on my things. Let's see. Who else we got? We are so relieved, Rocha, that you didn't take your life. Thank you, Camp Chef. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Let's see who else we got. Nate Dogg, morning, Rocha's sip of coffee for the working man. One of my favorite topics is character work. Who do you think has the best character out of the new batch of competitors? Good question. Good question. I think the Barbarian, and I'm not trying to be favoritist either. I think the Barbarian. I mean, coming in with that look of his, coming in with the stroking of that kind of stuff is just genius. And plus, he's like destroyed Clee Wiggins. Well, not destroyed. I'm sorry. He beat Clee Wiggins in that third round. So like he got his victory. I thought he's fantastic. I can't wait to see what Robert Parker does. I thought Sean Sullivan was okay, but I think it's the Barbarian, to be honest with you. And I just like the character that he's created, and I think he's fully committed to it and the weird conversations and stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen the cutscene with him and Ben Goddard. Like, that kind of stuff is funny as hell. So I am a big fan of what he's doing, dude. A big fan of what he's done, and I'm looking to see what Robert Parker does. I'm very much looking forward to it. So Nick Bascom says, "Thanks for sharing that, John. We love you. I love you guys back as well. Honestly, deeply for everything you do to help keep the Outlaw Nation alive." Makeda Richardson says, "It's always better to talk about the struggles of your dark times. I can definitely relate, but we need you. We meant a lot to me on Collider, and to see you come through it all, it's been great." Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you, Makeda. Christopher Castro says, "I love Ben Goddard's character." Yeah, but it's like me. Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's fair. Ben Goddard's character is good. He's fun. He's certainly committed to what he's doing. It's just an extension of him, and I see him so much. So to me, it just feels like Ben is just extending a little bit of himself in that. Whereas Barbarian, I don't spend as much time with Craig, the Barbarian. So when I see it, it's like, oh, it's just fun character for him to play. So he's awesome. Let's see. Garth McCrory says, "Please leave a like. Rocha and others are working hard during these tough times to entertain us. Let's get the likes to over 150. Yeah, I would love that. If we can get over to 150, that would be awesome. Let's see. Wiley Henry says, "You're the best thing about the Schmoedown." Oh, that's very kind. Thank you. Love you, dude. Big B says, "Thanks for sharing that story, Rocha. Glad you're still with us." So am I. Thank you. Thank you. William Belfort says, "Asking for an extra number for Elvis was great character work by the Barbarian." Yeah, exactly. I'm saying, it's fantastic. The Barbarian has sometimes stuck to character in Drew's videos with Elvis on his shoulder. That's right. He's awesome. Andy Burnett says, "Bandit and the Switchblade." The Barbarian. Rednax 42 says, "The Barbarian is definitely a character. And Nate Dogg says, hey, man, I've told you once, and I'll tell everyone until I'm blue in the face. I've been following you since you took over for Christian on that Star Wars podcast. You are my favorite person. Thank you. Matty Gunner says, much love and respect to you, John. Well, I appreciate that, guys. You all are very, very kind to me this morning, and I didn't anticipate, talking about it, revealing, and having Billy Belford get me emotional, you son of a bitch. But it's very kind of you all to send the words that you do. Let's jump into a couple of Streamlabs before we get into our last topic and wrap this thing up for the morning, which thank you again to all of you who are joining me this morning to hang out. I'm telling you, I love nothing more than hanging out with you guys and talking to all of you, and where I'm doing it live on the streams or putting out shows, or we're doing it like actually in person or online when we do it on the Outlaw Nation and we do it on Game Time. It means a lot, honestly. This is what I wanted to do with the channel. This is what I felt was missing at Collider, and I wanted to make happen there, but there were walls to trying to make that happen. So being able to make it happen here in a small way and hopefully a bigger way down the road has meant a lot to me. So thank you all so much for coming aboard again. Andrew G says, what up, Outlaw Nation? Hope everyone's well. Watched Bloodshot last night. Yikes. Not even the shit I smoke could make that better. Should have just kept crushing my Battlestar Galactica rewatch. Haha. Just kidding. It was silly and fun enough, I guess. Right, exactly. And that's the thing with that movie, and that's why I think they released that movie instead of pushing it back, because they're like, screw it, we're just going to drop it and try to take advantage of anybody who might still go to a theater and see this thing, because we know we're not making any money off of this thing. It's terrible. Anything that Vin Diesel does outside of the world of Fast and Furious is just terrible. All his choices, Last Witch Hunter, they're all terrible, terrible movies. And for whatever reason, Triple X, I guess you can, it's another franchise, but I guess Triple X counts as a good movie. I didn't like that third one for sure. So you got to give him love for that, for the Triple X and Fast Now, but like everything outside of it, it's just terrible choices. Raven donated this morning. Thank you, Raven. He said, morning, Outlaw. I was wondering if you ever got into Lucha Underground. The reason why I love the Schmoedown is because it reminded me of it with the blend of story and action, as well as some badass vignettes. Yeah, I did watch Lucha Underground for a couple of years. We were covering it way back when I was doing those recaps with Aaron Turner, Jay Washington sometimes, and then eventually Ryan Satin. We do a little Lucha Underground. But yeah, it's an interesting situation, Lucha. And it was fun for what it was. It was certainly incredibly weird and strange and different. And like people were getting killed. There was blood sacrifices, rituals, things of that nature going on. And some fantastic wrestling and some good wrestlers rolling through. They're both male and female. To me, that was a fun thing to do. And I've always thought if the Schmoedown's if ever going to progress to the point where we actually have a death storyline where someone dies, that could be interesting. Can you imagine the death of the Outlaw? The death of the Outlaw, and then I come back as like a completely different character. They have a funeral for the Outlaw, the whole nine. I mean, there's certainly all kinds of possibilities. I know I just talked about what we talked about with Suicide Stuff. I'm talking about it as a concept, as a storyline concept. Would be kind of funny to see that, like me, like this, line like this, with and people coming up paying their respects. That would be kind of funny. Of course, I think Bibiani would be super mad that once again I'm the focus of something. I know that for true. All right, Freddie S204. He said, "This is why I look up to Rocha. Be truthful and honest with our feelings is what gets us through the day, the month, and the year. What is the one thing that you were looking forward to doing once the pandemic is over? I want to get back to movies once more. Thank you." Oh, certainly movies, bro. Certainly going to see big movies with my friends or my friends in the industry, sitting there and enjoying the movies for sure. I think working out is another one. I've been super frustrated that I can't find a set of dumbbells. I'm trying to get these adjustable dumbbells from Bowflex, and they are sold out everywhere. They will occasionally pop up on Amazon, but it takes about a month or 2 months to get them. So by the time they come here, the thing will be over, so I don't feel like a waste of money. But yeah, I would love to get back to the gym. That's kind of the thing for me. And I was kind of... I don't know, I was coming around the bend to finally start going back to the gym when this coronavirus thing hit. So I'd love to be able to just work out here at the house, but also go back to the gym, hear the music, pump it up, being around other people that are working out. I miss that as well. And but I can take bike rides, so that's nice. I'm enjoying the bike rides I've been on recently and doing that. So that's what I would say is something. But definitely movies, going to the movies and what have you. It would be a lot of fun. All right. Oh, I got 142 likes. Thank you guys so much. We're getting closer to that 150. I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. It means so much to me. So thank you so much. John, what did you think about Dark Side of the Ring Benoit story last night? I haven't finished it. Gonna finish it after this. After I record this show, I'm gonna sit down and finish the second part of it. And you can look for our review of it on my Strong Style playlist that's on the Outlaw Nation channel. Aaron Turner and I are gonna review that documentary, and we're also gonna record our episode later. Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior from WrestleMania 6. That'll be there, and I might do that as a live show tonight with Aaron and I, and you guys can come in and ask questions, and I'll bring them up on the screen, and maybe Aaron and I will have a little fun answering your questions. I'll talk about him later. Zeno Hour says, at John Rocha, pitch, the Outlaw dies but returns as an Undertaker the Crow character. Yeah, that could be fun, like the face paint and all this kind of jazz. That would be awesome overall. Nick Bascom sent in a super chat. He says, I've been a fan since Schmoes and Far, Far Away. Any plans on a new Star Wars show? Yes, I had plans for a Star Wars show. I do have plans for a Star Wars show, but I think the way I'm looking at it is more like a half-hour Star Wars show, which is pre-recorded. And I've got a name for it, and I want to do it, but I also feel like I've got so much content on here, I don't want to overwhelm you guys and put too much out here and make you guys feel like I'm doing too much. But that is certainly something that I want to get into right now and do with the Outlaw Nation. And I already have a title for it that I really love. It's just a matter of can I find the time to put this in motion? And I'm discovering that Thursdays are a little bit of my lighter days, so maybe that's the day I could put the show in and put it up there and make it a separate show. And if I do a half-hour show, or maybe if I make it a live show, it'll be kind of a discussion show with you guys with one topic that we discuss every week, and then people coming in to talk about it live. So we'll see. But certainly, yes, I do have plans for a new Star Wars show, and I have the title for it already. So we'll see. All right, let's see. I don't think I have any more Streamlabs or Super Chat, so let's jump into our last topic of the day. Let me bring it all up here so I can discuss it with you all. And thank you so much for once again being part of the show this morning. So I have to adjust my OBS to make sure I can see everything in here. All right, the next thing is David Harbour gave an Instagram. He did an Instagram video where he was talking about a number of things, and I was personally enjoying this because I'm a big fan of David Harbour, and I follow Lily Allen on Instagram. She'll do live videos, and David, who she's dating, will jump in every once in a while, and it's pretty cool to see them interacting because you can tell how much affection they have for each other and genuine care they have for each other, and how different, because she's Lily Allen is a very outspoken, strong woman, and then David's so chill, but he's this big dude, and just to see them kind of going back and forth, it's very sweet. But he was doing an Instagram live video that posted on March 22nd, and he was talking about Black Widow. He's in there as Red Guardian. Of course, we'd seen all the promotional stuff for it, a final trailer. Everything was ramping up here for this thing to drop, and then, of course, it got delayed. But after it got delayed or postponed, there was a big movement to have this thing appear on Disney+. A lot of people wanted it to happen. A lot of people wanted to see it as quickly as possible. And David Harbour, when he was asked about it, he said, I'm very much looking forward to being in Black Widow. Sorry. Let me yell real quick. I'm very much looking forward to being in Black Widow if we ever are able to release that movie. I would love to be able to watch that movie too. I have not seen that movie. I have seen some stuff in ADR, and it looks really good. And also, I was there when we were shooting it, and I'm really excited about it, but I would like to see it myself. Hell, I would watch it on Disney+. So that's a really interesting statement by David Harbour. Is this him kind of agreeing with the fans to kind of be a part of them, or is it just a throw-off line? Or is this the first kind of hint that we could see this thing show up on Disney+? A lot of us feel like it's not going to happen, that it's not going to drop on Disney+. It's not going to be a part of this, and but we don't know. We don't know what Disney is thinking. We don't know what Disney has in mind, but it could be very interesting to see this thing drop on Disney+. It would be the first shot across the bow of a massive film that everyone was looking forward to. No offense to Trolls World Domination, but that everyone else was looking forward to seeing in the theaters. Seeing this thing drop on Disney+ would be a shot across the bow. Then the other studios feel this pressure. If Disney is releasing one of their big new releases on streaming service like Disney Plus, then what do we have to catch up and drop one of our big ones? Do we now move Fast 9? Do we now move these other things to possibly stream? I don't think HBO Max is going to stream Wonder Woman 1984. Patty Jenkins made it very, very clear she wants that thing in the theaters, and it should be in the theaters, and I totally understand that and respect Patty wanting to do that. But something like Black Widow, which of course is its own movie in a way, because it is a not necessarily prequel where it goes to before we saw Black Widow, but it is a prequel in a sense that it is in between, I think, it's right before Civil War, right after Civil War. And so these events are that we already saw go in motion with Black Widow. Her, spoiler alert, her passing away in in Endgame. This is where you could have this idea of it drop on Disney Plus, and it doesn't necessarily affect the overall timeline of Phase 4. So we'll see. I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. It would have to be financially viable for Disney to do it. But certainly the buzz they've gotten off releasing Frozen 2 and Onward early, has been a positive for Disney overall. And, that's what you want. And people getting into it and writing about it and doing whatever could be a fantastic situation. But they would cost themselves a lot of money, I think, if they did it as well. It'd be hundreds of millions of dollars is what I was looking at Screen Rant and their analysis of it. Right. They want to give it a proper theatrical release. They're probably losing money by delaying it at this point already. So maybe they don't want to lose even more money with this situation. So and then maybe they think Black Widow will be one of the things people come in droves to see, and they'll make up their money in that way. Harbour went on to talk a little bit more also about Hellboy. Everybody remembers that film he did, and some people don't want to remember that film he did, to be honest with you. Some people really didn't like that one. Guillermo del Toro did the original one with Ron Perlman, but this one was a bit of a remake of it. Sorry. With David Harbour and Ian McShane in this one. And Daniel Day Kim, I think, was in this one as well. And he said, I think it failed before we began shooting because I think the people didn't want us to make the movie. And for some reason, there was like a big Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman created this iconic thing that we thought could be reinvented. And then the loudness of the internet was like, we do not want you to touch this. And then we made a movie that I think is fun. And I think that had its problems, but was a fun movie. And then people were just very, very against it. And that's people's right. But I learned my lesson in a lot of different ways. So there you go. That's the kind of comment from David Harbour. I think it's a good comment. He's saying I don't think he's necessarily blaming the situation on original Hellboy fans. I think he's just saying that the internet wasn't 100% down with this thing. And so he felt it was unfairly vilified as a movie. He's not saying it was a great movie. He's just saying it was a lot of fun. But it isn't probably the best movie, but it was a fun movie. To make him a fun movie to have out there. And I know there's people like William Bibiani who defend Hellboy and enjoy Hellboy, and I haven't seen it because of all the negative reviews of it. But I will eventually see it down the road. Maybe that could be a watch along that I do. And that's another thing. I'm going to be announcing watch alongs for patrons and then watch alongs for anybody else who wants to that I'll put on and make public that are for people who are fans of the show and not necessarily patrons that I'll be doing as well. Certainly Hellboy could be a fun one just to kind of watch along because I enjoy watching movies, and maybe my way with connecting with you all, like feeling like I'm watching movies with everybody else, is doing these watch alongs, which would be a lot of fun, or recording these commentary tracks for these films that I could put out for people to enjoy. Certainly possible on that level as well. But yeah, those are the things. But I think he's got every right to defend his movie. He's in the movie. I'm sure he was excited to play this character. He got in shape to play this character, put on the makeup every day to play this character, which certainly was probably annoying as hell at times. And so for him defending the movie, I think it's not a negative. But also, I think he's not wrong. I think Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman, people love those Hellboy movies so much. And if you're going to remake it, and they still feel relatively current. So when they were remaking Hellboy, you were just like, well, Jesus, I hope they do a damn good movie, because if you're going to remake it and people still love those movies, at least remake it and make a good one. Kind of like they did with Spider-Man, right? People loved Homecoming. People enjoy, and some people love Far From Home. But Homecoming was such a great thing when people were like, no way, I don't want to see another Spider-Man movie. And it comes out like this, and it's sweet, and it's earnest, it's funny. It goes back to the core. It really captures the core of what makes us love Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So could they have done that with Hellboy? And it seems, for the most part, from critics and people who went to see it, that they didn't. So, but I'm never going to fault David Harbour for defending his work. He's certainly an incredible actor. Has been in a number of things, and he's fun to watch. Nick Bascom sent in a super chat here. He said, Schmoeville. Just says Schmoeville. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Yes, over 100, almost 160 likes. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate that madly. You guys are so incredibly kind this morning. 160 likes here on this episode of Mornings with the Outlaw. Let's see. Tim Franco's in the house. Oh, Tim Franco, the Tank. What's up, Tank? How are you doing, brother, man? Good to see you up in here. Nice to see you, my brother. When are you coming back to LA, Tim? When are you coming back to LA, Tim? I know I'm due for an Arizona visit, but now with all the coronavirus, I don't know. I saw articles like, can you drive across state lines? And I was like, wait, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about whether you could drive across state lines or not. Like, it didn't even occur to me that could be an issue, right? You get in your car, who's telling you where you can go? There's no one like blocking people on the roads, are they? Oh my God, I don't know. We'll see. All right, see if I got any Streamlabs going on here. Let me jump into this thing and see if I got a Streamlabs. We're going to wrap this thing up a little before 10. Send you on to SEN Live. Christian's going to have Brett Sheridan on there again this morning. I think that's the lineup until the coronavirus thing dies down. Is him and Brett for a little bit. I don't know if I'll be back on SEN Live anytime soon, but I'm hoping so as things kind of clear up a little bit. We'll see here. Let's see. Garth McMurray donated here, and he said, my friends at Boss Fight Studio make great action figures of Lucha Libre, Flash Gordon characters, mythology figures, and many more. What would you think about having a Schmoedown line of action figures? Do you think Christian and others would like that? Well, Garth, to be honest with you, that's kind of the conversations we were having with Skybound. This idea of action figures and bobbleheads, but everything's been put on delay because of the coronavirus stuff, and we haven't been able to roll into season 7 as strong as we were hoping to, or continue rolling into season 7 as strong as we were hoping to. So all of that stuff's been put on delay for a little bit, but I have started to look at the possibility of doing some bobbleheads for the Outlaw or Outlaw Nation, doing some T-shirts or whatever, so things of that nature. So some merchandise for Outlaw Nation is something that I've started to look at. Would be fun to kind of have an Outlaw character or figure that people could buy. I'm not saying it's gonna sell out or anything, but it would be kind of fun to create it. So I'd have to kind of figure out how I would go about doing that, the design of that, how long that would take, and how to put that in motion. So if any of you all have hookups with action figure houses or action figure places, please send that information along to me. You can find my email on Instagram there in my profile, and I will get in touch with them and see how much they would charge and maybe put them out for people to get and to have, because I certainly would love an Outlaw bobblehead that I can just have here on the table for my own sake. It'd be kind of fun. But yeah, that's what we've been talking about. So there you go. Freddie S204 says, I was in a deep, dark place last year, was depressed and feeling awful, and then Schmoedown Orlando was announced, and it gave me hope. Went with a friend, and when you won the team belts, I was brought back to life. New sense of purpose, drive, and hope. Oh, thank you, Freddie. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. And he donated more. He said, just say thanks to you and the community for getting me through that time. Your words, your hope, and your time got me through it. Honestly would say that without it all, I probably wouldn't be here, but thankful that I am. Rocha, can you end with a hype? Yes, I will end with a hype, absolutely, for you all at the end of the show. No problem at all. And thank you, Freddie, for sending that in. And it's my honor, honestly. It's always my honor to inspire anybody or anything we do in the Schmoedown, whether I'm involved or not. If the Schmoedown brings people together, brings that community together, brings supportive people. There's so many supportive people in the Schmoedown community and family who have all gone through things or are going through things, and there's always people there willing to help or talk you through it or just be there to listen. And that's been one of the proudest things that I think we've fostered and cultivated as players, but also Christian from the top on down. Cultivated this openness to talk about these kinds of things, and people feel a sense of community with that, and that's a positive. That's a positive you can do in this world, in my opinion. Andrew G. He donated. He said the Hellboy reboot wasn't great, but did have some cool moments, and I thought Harbour wasn't bad. But he's right. I don't think anyone really wanted this. I didn't. I would have loved to see Del Toro and Perlman be able to finish telling their story. I agree, but I don't think Del Toro I don't think Del Toro was running back to do it at the budget they were offering, is what I would say. So I think he wanted a certain budget for that if he was going to do it. He didn't get that budget, so he's like, all right, I'm just going to lay off on this thing for a little bit. So I think that's at the end of the day. But yes, I agree. Harbour wasn't bad at all from what I saw in the clips of the trailers, and no one said that Harbour was bad from the reviews. It was just the overall film itself just really didn't land for a lot of people. But yeah, maybe someday we'll get the Del Toro and Perlman, but better make it soon. Ron's not getting any younger, and neither is Guillermo. So we got to get that. If they're going to make it happen, they should make it happen soon. I think fans would create space for that to happen and kind of forget this Harbour Hellboy overall. So there you go. All right, let me see if I got any more Streamlabs or Super Chats. Any Super Chats rolling through here or any questions I want to ask. I'm going to take a sip real quick. I've been talking straight for quite some time. I need to wet the whistle a little bit, so. Billy Belford said, glad somebody was happy you won the team belts. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you ball busting. Oh yeah, a fan made a Funko for Video Drew. Really? Come on. How does the Outlaw not have a fan who can make him a Funko of the Outlaw, for God's sakes? I've seen the parody Funko ones that I put up on my Instagram, which were great, but that'd be kind of fun. Somebody make me a Funko Outlaw. That would be awesome. Nick Bascom said, thanks so much, Rocha. This has been an awesome stream. Thank you guys as well. I didn't know what was going to happen this morning because last night we went late till like 8:30 on the Outlaw Nation show with Mark Ellis. I wasn't sure if I was going to have the energy for this morning, but these Wednesday ones, I just kind of got to get up, shake it off, and jump into it. So, is it? Yeah, Nicholas Mikolas says that the $300 million price tag was what Del Toro was looking at. So that was an issue there. And Rednax42 says, I'm still pissed Del Toro at Del Toro and at the Mountain of Madness did not happen. Andy Burnett says he wants to make sure I got his Streamlab. Andy, did you send it in? Where is it? No, I don't see it, Andy. I don't see a Streamlab from you, brother man. Yeah, Ed Haskell had this issue the other day. Maybe there's a button you're not clicking. Andrew G, Freddie S024, Garth McMurray, Raven, Andrew G, again, Suge Knight twice, and King Nirvana. He donated. King Nirvana 24 said, saw Dark Side of the Ring last night, which is also available on YouTube. Sad to watch. Yes, as I said, I'm going to finish watching that one as soon as this is done, and I will watch it. King Nirvana 24, is that you, brother man? Is that you who sent in that Streamlabs? If it is, then I got you, bro. I got you, Andy Burnett. So if that's you, then I got you, man. Yeah, I've definitely been watching it. ZB, you made the Drew Funko. I already have some ideas on how to make an Outlaw one. Ideas? Make it happen. Make it happen. And have it come with exchangeable belts, both the tag team and the singles belt. And then eventually the Star Wars belt later this year. If I ever get back in that ring for Star Wars, I would love it. Cam Chef says, last night's show was fantastic. 2 hours and 19 minutes with Mark Ellis, Molly, and the Outlaw. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Billy, Dark Side of the Ring hit me in the feels. Yeah, Billy, I'm bracing myself for watching this after I wrap up the stream because I really loved part one, and so I'm looking forward to it. Franco says, Rocha, not sure I'll be back, but now that Free For All is postponed, I'll try to come win that. I'll try to come win that. Yeah, please come win that, man. That would be awesome. Taco says, Outlaw, Kalinowski, and Knapsack are my favorite Schmoedown characters. I got to get Knapsack on one of my streams soon. I haven't had Ken on anything, and he's been kind of out there for people to put on streams. So certainly I want to do that. Slen182 says a theater about 45 minutes away from me announced yesterday that they are now having to shut down for good. So there's the first theater casualty near me. Yeah, I've been hearing that from a couple of people recently that the theaters around them, some of the smaller theaters, have shut down permanently and are closing. Certainly here in LA, I've seen a number of theaters close, not from the coronavirus, actually. I've seen over the years theaters close near me. So theaters do close all the time, unfortunately, for whatever reason. But certainly seems to be coronavirus is the one that is inspiring this recent closing of theaters. So there. Rick Zamora says, what about the mask? You need the mask. Right. The mask, as you see, wait, is the camera? The mask should be optional as well, for sure, to put on. But I don't know if you can get the approval. I think that's a copyright thing for the Guy Fawkes mask, for my personal opinion. But maybe you can do a variation of it that is on its own. ZV says, belts, eh? LOL, I'll see what I can figure out. That's awesome. Well, Nost and I are doing top 10. We've gone back on Christopher Castro goes, got to get Nost on the stream too. Well, Matt and I are starting to record the top 10 in this way on StreamYard. So that we just put up our episode on camera. You can go to YouTube, our top 10 YouTube channel, and see Matt and I on camera talking about the top 10 Meryl Streep movies. He's at his house, I'm at my place, and that's a lot of fun. We also dropped our top 10 relist episode there, which we do for the patrons, or for our fans rather, and the patrons play along with it. We are considering doing the Topic Thunder show that we do for our patrons, doing that as a live stream so the patrons can also come in and ask questions, not just send in questions. That could be a lot of fun as well. So Billy Belford just says, Virginia governor announced all movie theaters, gyms, bowling alleys had to close across the state. Ooh. Big Chuck says drive-ins are killing it though, but I'm seeing the drive-ins are starting to close though across the country as well. So I don't know how that's going to play out or go down, but certainly that's something people have talked about overall. So we'll see how the drive-ins stay, if they stay alive or don't stay alive, and how people react to it in that way. So all right, got 171 likes, dude. Thank you all. Dudes and ladies, thank you all so much for giving this already so many likes before we wrap up the show here. It's been a fun stream this morning. I didn't know what to expect of it. I knew we had a lot of news to get to, but didn't expect where it would go. And that's what the deal is about Mornings with the Outlaw. You never know where it's going to go. It's spending time with me in the morning talking about whatever. I try to have 2 or 3 news stories. It's like 10 poles in the ground for us to talk about. But I'm always open to any of the questions you guys want to ask me about what's going on in your world or what's going on in my world, or any kind of advice or anything at all, or that you want to talk about, or wherever you're at in your world, on Streamlabs and Super Chat. Always open for that kind of stuff. And Fridays is kind of going to be my Q&A show. So Fridays will be the one that I do through StreamYard. So I will do, there'll be 1 or 2 news stories, but then opening it up to you asking questions live. So this Friday on Mornings with the Outlaw, that's basically what it is. It's the Q&A. It's a couple of topics and then a Q&A to kind of wrap up the week for people. And if you want to come in live on that, we'll definitely do that going on Friday. So, all right. Thanks everyone so much. I think this is a good place to wrap it. We're at 10 minutes till 10. I want to give you guys a little bit of a break before you jump into the SEN live stream. Nick Bascom sent in one final super chat. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Let's see. Do I have another Streamlab from Nate Dogg? Did Nate Dogg send something? And Nate Dogg, he said, favorite wrestling match, man. What do you think of nominating? Oh, sorry. I lost it. Did I lose it? Oh, here's it. Favorite wrestling match. What do you think of nominating or bringing up a movie per stream? Maybe a hidden gem or something. Keep your head up. We need you in these times. So thank you for all the streams. I'm sure it's tiring, but we love you. Never give up. Thank you. Same to you. Same to all of you. Never give up. Never surrender. From Galaxy Quest, one of my favorite films. That's a hidden gem. I say that's a hidden gem. Galaxy Quest. What do you think of nominating or bringing up a movie per stream? Well, I think it's possible. I think Mornings with the Outlaw is certainly. I wanted to make it kind of like my news show, but maybe Fridays is the one that's a little more loose where I could do that, like have the Q&A, but also have like, here's a movie that I really liked and talk about it for like 5 minutes and kind of recommend it to you all. That's not a bad idea, actually, Nate Dogg. So let me think about it a little bit more. It could be fun. It's like a mini segment within the overall show on the Friday episode of Mornings with the Outlaw. So that could be fun. That certainly could be fun. I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem to write something up for that, or kind of talk off the cuff about the film and kind of do a mini review of it, so to speak. So yeah, that's something that's coming to more consistently. There'll be reviews every week of things that I'm watching or movies that I get a hold of and get a chance to watch. So I got to get my review back on, my review muscles working. So those will be coming. I'm looking to drop them every Thursday. Maybe 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, or 1 in the late evening. So I'll be dropping more reviews coming down the pike for a lot of things that I'll be watching, but that's not a bad idea right now. Mr. Datfo sending in one Streamlabs here. He said, tough times for me right now. Thanks for sharing. We've never met, but thanks all the same. Well, thank you, Mr. Datvo. I appreciate you sending that in. It's very, very kind of you. I appreciate it. Or Mr. DatVO, I think that's it. But very kind and tough times for all of us right now, for sure, my man. And I think this is when we need community the most, need connection and friendship the most. And thank God we have something like the internet. I know the internet can be used in a negative way. I know social media can be a negative thing, but there are ways to use the internet in a positive way. And I hope that's happening every morning with Mornings with the Outlaw, every Tuesday with the Outlaw Nation, and all the other shows I do. I hope that's bringing content. And I think Geek Buddies, honestly, I think we might do Geek Buddies today live. I'm going to talk to the guys once I get off the stream here. I'm going to text them and see if they'd be open to doing the show live, maybe at 1 p.m. Today, or maybe at noon today, actually, right after SEN Live is wrapped up and before Roxy starts her stream. Could be kind of fun. So we'll kick it around and see what we think. And so look for that announcement, and maybe you all can jump in with some questions for me, Mike, and Shannon. That could be kind of fun as well. All right, that's it. Let me wrap it up there. Thank you all so much. You've been incredible this morning. It's been so much fun to talk to you all. Thank you for joining me and having some fun with Mornings with the Outlaw. You guys have been fun today. Over 175 likes. Thank you very, very much. I'm humbled by that as well. And thank you for the Streamlabs. Thank you for the Super Chats. Always appreciate any love you give to the Outlaw Nation in that way. Please like and share this video on your social media. I say this all the time. When you do that, you're telling your fans, your friends, your followers that you approve these shows, that you approve of this content. And so they might be more open to checking it out because they like you, you're their friend, they trust your opinion, and so they want to check this thing out. So we could convert more people into the Outlaw Nation. Always a good thing overall to do, in my opinion, in my own personal opinion. Please follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. You see that there in the graphic. Thank you so much for that fantastic overlay again to Jake Iacovetta. And you can follow me. And please don't forget about the Patreon, www.patreon.com. Remember what I said here. We're going to do some hangouts. There'll be some Outlaw Nation hangouts for sure. There'll be watch-alongs. There'll be streams coming down the pike for me. So please, the next week, we're going to do our first Outlaw hangout, and there'll be more coming. We're trying it out, see if it works, and seeing what we can do, more hangouts with everybody, and see what we can create and talk about everything that we want to talk about. And don't forget last night what went down, the Outlaw Nation show. That is out for you to watch now. Mark Ellis, my guest on the show. Please get involved with that and be a part of that as well and enjoy that show. Trust me, you don't want to miss Mark Ellis doing his thing with me and us having a lot of fun for about a little bit over 2 hours. So feel free to do that as well. All right, here's the deal. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. I know it's Wednesday. I know things are closing. Things are scary. Things are kind of tight right now. We're not sure which way this thing is going. So what do you got to do? You got to take care of yourself. You got to find those things that bring you joy. You know what I did yesterday when I was feeling a little down? I opened Hush and started reading Hush, that Batman story. You know, coming back to the things that made us smile and made us laugh and made us enjoy things is not a negative. That's what you got to do in these moments and find your way to them, whether it's music, whether it's taking a walk, taking a bike ride, whether it's watching an episode of a TV show that you loved, a favorite episode of your TV show that you loved. I did that over the weekend. I watched Constant, the Lost episode, The Constant. I watched that. I always watch that show when I'm in a bad place and I think about watching. I put it on. So watch a movie, things of that nature. Play a game. Hang out online. Maybe Skype with your family or Skype with your nieces or nephews. Those things that you do to kind of get yourself into a better place, and that's what you need to do this time. So do it. The mountain is tough to climb, but you have all the tools within you to climb it. Trust me, you have all the tools within you to climb it, at least to climb it to the next few steps and then see what you got there. So do that for yourself. Certainly, we're all on the mountain trying to get to that peak. So maybe just look over to your left and look over to your right. Give it a little nod or a wink to everybody else who's on the mountain trying to climb up. And if you see somebody below you who's struggling, lend a hand down there and get them up to your level. It doesn't take anything away from you to help someone else get to that level, because someone else above you is going to help you get to the next level as well. Never forget to pass that on and pay it forward in that way. All right. Love you all so much. Don't forget all the content coming down today. Geek Buddies, Strong Style. Geek Buddies will be tomorrow, a Strong Style today, and everything coming down this week from me here on the Outlaw Nation channel. Don't forget to subscribe below and like and share this video, as I said, and we'll talk to you next time on another episode of Mornings with the Outlaw. Take care. Until then, everybody.